Hello, good afternoon. I'm Brian Manning, and I want to answer your questions about winning asylum in the United States. Ah, that was quick. Camel's already there. He says, "Hello, long time no see. Miss your show." Thanks, Camel, for thanks for noticing there was a gap. Same thing says Easy or Easy. Hello, Brian. Long time no see. Miss your show. How have you been? Nice, good. How have you guys been? Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on a show. I'm glad to be back. I'm Brian Manning. I'm an asylum lawyer. I have a law firm called Political Asylum Lawyers, and we help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. All right. We're based in Texas, but it doesn't matter because we help people all over. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the, well, as long as you're in the United States. If you're in the United States and you need help with your asylum case, we should talk. Loic, if I'm not mistaken, you had your interview or you have it in the next few days. Is that correct? Let me know, Loic. Atin Derpal says, has a question for us. We're going to get to those questions in just a minute. First of all, say hello. Love to hear say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Love to see where our community is at. This community of people who are supporting each other and trying to do their best to build the strongest asylum case possible so that they can secure their future in America through asylum. That's what we do every day, is help people secure their future in America through asylum. I want to hear from you. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Vanessa says, hola, Vanessa. Yo tengo un canal de YouTube en español. Se llama Asilo Aprobado. Asilo Aprobado. All right. Hello from Omaha, Nebraska. Says, what does it say? Ramps? Nice. Hello, Brian. Hello, Kevin, watching from South Florida. Nice. Thanks for that, Marielle. Appreciate that. And Vanessa is in Iowa. Very interesting. Nice. Where else? Where we got people out? Let me know. Look, let me know where you're watching from, but also start leaving your questions. That's what we're here for. I'm here to answer your questions about winning asylum in the United States. I'm a former asylum officer. I used to work as an asylum officer at the Houston Asylum Office, but then I got sick of seeing how asylum seekers were treated. I got sick of all of it, and I decided that I wanted to advocate for people. I decided that I wanted to be firmly on the side of the asylum seeker and help them to present the strongest case possible. And so I started my law firm a little over 5 years ago. And since that date, we've helped a lot of people secure their future in America through asylum. And I want to answer your questions today. So let me know what questions you have. But first, just a couple words. Look, I want to reassure you that there's hope. It's easy in the current moment to get disenchanted, to get scared, honestly, is probably the best word to use it, right? In light of what's going on, the current enforcement environment, the news that we're seeing every day about these very publicized arrests and deportations and all the other anti-immigrant news that we're hearing on an almost daily basis from this administration. With all that going on, you may think, you know what, it's not even worth applying for asylum, or if you've already applied, it's not even worth trying to do my best to win my case. No. Don't think that. I promise you, there is hope that you can still win your case. All right. We are winning cases. We've won a lot of cases lately. I'm really, really proud of my team. I don't know if you know this, but I don't do much of the legal work anymore. I have people that honestly I think are better than me when it comes to most aspects of handling a case, especially when it comes to helping people prepare for the interview and actually representing them during their interview. Honestly, I think my attorneys are better than me. That's why I hired them. I wanted to go out and find people that I thought would be great when it comes to that moment where you got to advocate as a lawyer. You got to fight for your client. You got to be clever. You got to be good on your feet. I found lawyers that I think are better than me at that. I've trained them on like the substance and all the things that I learned on the other side of the desk as an asylum officer. I trained them on all that, and I think that I'm still the person who's sort of setting the tone for the office in terms of like the strategy and stuff, the strategies that we used. But when it comes to the moment of that interview, my colleagues I think are better than me. So how did I get off on this tangent? What was I talking about? I I've got to. Oh, I know what I was saying. We've won a lot of cases, to which I give tons of credit to my team because we've got a great team at my law firm. They're doing great work. We've had a bunch of approvals lately. Okay, so even though you're seeing bad news out there, depressing anti-immigrant news, don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. It is possible to win. We continue to win cases. We're gonna continue winning more cases. So don't give up. Okay. K Kevin says, I'll be reaching out to you guys next month. Why wait? K Kevin, let's do it now. K Kevin, you don't need to wait till next month. Let's talk now. If you want to, everyone, if you want to talk with us, we would do this in the context of an asylum interview. Excuse me. We don't do asylum interviews. We do consultations. You can schedule that. Oops, wrong URL. That was Spanish. You can schedule it at winasylum.com. The website you should go to is WINASYLUM.com. Winasylum.com. Go to winasylum.com. That's where you can schedule a consultation with one of our asylum professionals. We want to talk. We want to see what's going on, get to know you, get to know your case, tell you what we think, whether we think we can help you. If we think that we might be able to help you, we're going to tell you how. We're going to tell you what our actual strategy would be to do that. We will build something that we call our asylum action plan, which is a concrete plan of what we're going to do to give you the best possible chance to win your case. All right. That's what we want to talk about in the context of a consultation. Hello over on YouTube. Glad you're with us. Camel says, can you add those memberships to your asylum case? Things like AmeriCorps or humanitarian stuff like AmeriCorps. Well, yeah, there's a question right on the asylum application form that asks, have you participated in any groups? That would be a good place to amend your application to say that. But you can do that for this kind of thing. You can do that at the interview. You do not need to submit an amended asylum application form, Camel, to add things like, I also have these other groups that were not listed. That's something you can do orally at the interview. Okay. Where can I ask questions? Says Oma. Well, Oma, you can ask them right here, and I might be able to. I answer questions here. That's what the purpose of the show is. But if I don't get to you and you really want an answer, and if you think you might want help with your case, you should schedule a consultation with us at winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. All right. I'm an atheist and member of Chicago Atheist Republic group. I heard they have written supporting letters to one of the atheist asylum seekers in order to support his case. Are you asking if that would be helpful, Camel? Yeah, I mean, I assume that your claim is based or probably on religion. If that's what it is, and you can get a letter from this group that you're involved with that says that you're an atheist, if that's what your case is centered on, or even if that's involved in your case, then yeah, that could only, it's not going to hurt. It could only help. Okay. So what is my, Ashlock says, do you help with asylee green cards? Yes. Look, here's the question. The question is this: does my law firm help people to get green cards, permanent residency? Well, look, we're a little bit different than most immigration law firms. We do not help people get green cards based on marriage or other family relationships. We don't help people get green cards based on like business or employment or investment or things like that. We only help people get green cards based on asylum. Okay. So if you've won asylum, you're then eligible to apply for permanent residency, also known as a green card, based on your being an asylee. We do help people with that green card. That's the only one, though. We don't do any other green card. We are laser focused on asylum. Okay. Asylum is what we do all day, every day. I think that there's value in being very specialized and focusing day in and day out on hard problems and becoming really good at them. And that's what we try to do with asylum. We don't spread ourselves thin trying to master every area of immigration law. We just want to be excellent at asylum, and that's why we focus on asylum. Okay. Vanessa says, I just want to say I have my interview next week, and basically I prepared everything with your trainings, Brian. Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad. I hope that you feel prepared. Look, for those of you on TikTok and on Facebook and LinkedIn, if you want my best stuff, that I think is going to help you win your asylum case, go to YouTube, okay? Because on YouTube, I've got some really detailed trainings and lots of videos that are going to help you, okay? Vanessa is saying that she prepared for her interview based on my trainings. That YouTube channel is called Political Asylum Lawyers, okay? So if you go to YouTube and you type the words in the search box, Political Asylum Lawyers, you'll see my picture, and it's like in red behind it. That's our YouTube channel, okay? Look, Vanessa, the trainings are great. If you want to give yourself the best possible chance of winning, if you call us today and schedule a consultation for like tomorrow, if there's any space available, I don't know if there is, but if you do, we might have time to get you in for a mock interview, for the practice interview before your real interview. That would be the best way that you could possibly prepare, okay? In my opinion. So that's a question, right? The question is this. So what should you do if you are surprised by getting your asylum interview notice in the mail and your interview is coming up really quickly and you feel like you're not prepared and like maybe you don't have time to do a whole lot? Because look, a lot of people are getting these interview notices that say your interview's been scheduled for X date, but they only have like 10 days between getting that letter and the day of the actual interview. And there's not time then really to go back and build out the case in any meaningful way on paper. There's probably not time to do a declaration or update a declaration or to get good evidence or to get a lawyer to write a legal brief for you in that short time. What you can do is do a mock interview, a practice interview. We offer this service, and it's the most important aspect of the representation that we provide. Even when we do the full representation where we help with an application, declaration, we help with all that, that's great. That stuff is good and helpful. But the most important part is not that. The most important part is the mock interview and debrief session that we do to help our clients prepare for that assignment interview. That's the most important thing. So if you get that interview notice and you're like, I wish I had help, I don't have much time to prepare, call me right away so we can talk about whether it makes sense to do a mock interview in your case. And if there's enough time, we may be able to represent you also on the day of the interview. We should talk. Okay. Hello from New York. Did they start processing the green card for asylees? Yes, they are. Wynn says, I have pending asylum for a year, but today I got a notice to appear to attend court. I never had that USCIS interview. I applied for asylum while I was in status. Well, those are all surprising things when it's not normal. It's not normal that you would get a notice to appear without ever getting to do an interview. And it's not normal that you would get a notice to appear while you are in status. So I don't know what's going on, but I think you should probably talk with a lawyer about getting help in court because it sounds like something weird is happening. Tiotia Lucia, or Tietia or Totia? Lucia, раньше говорю по-русски. Сейчас, к сожалению, нет. Brian, could you please explain why the term persecution is not defined in the law and how some officers judge what counts as persecution and what is not? What if a case is kind of in a gray zone? Good question. The question is this: what counts as persecution under U.S. asylum law? So yeah, it's not defined. There's the law doesn't tell you persecution is, and then like has a definition of what it is. It's not like that. Officers have to go by court cases where judges have said, okay, these things happened in this case. I think that is harm that is sufficiently severe to rise to the level of persecution, as where in another case, when these things happened, that was not enough. So basically what you got to do in arguing that what the harm that you suffered was sufficiently severe to constitute persecution is you got to point to case law where similar things have happened or things that appear to be sort of similar in terms of intensity and gravity have happened and be like, look, what happened to me is as bad or worse than what happened there where, the court said, yes, that is persecution. That's what you do. And that's what we do in our legal brief that we write for our clients. And I think that we're good at that. So really that's how it works. Your job as an applicant, though, is to give the details, to paint the picture of what happened and really convey to the officer the seriousness, the gravity of what happened and how it affected you. That's your job as the applicant. Your lawyer's job is to use precedent, to use legal arguments to show that you meet the requirements for asylum, including this persecution question. Where are you from? Lucia? I'm curious where you're from. All right. Let's see. Oma says, I got an idea for your next video. What's your opinion on making a video, about mandamus lawsuit in 2025 under the Trump administration with the latest news, etc.? Well, yeah, I'm going to answer that like this. The question is this. Does it even make sense anymore now that we're in the second Trump administration, where they're doing everything they can to destroy the cases of asylum seekers, to deport as many people as possible? Does it still make sense to file a mandamus lawsuit to force your long-delayed asylum interview? Yes. Look, we're still winning cases. At my law firm, we've won what I think is a lot of cases recently. It's not impossible to win under Trump. We're still winning, okay? Look, I do think, though, to tell you honestly, I do think the approval rates are going to go down. With every passing month that Trump is in power, I think it's probably going to become harder and harder to win asylum. I think, therefore, that you would benefit from having your asylum claim heard now, your interview now, rather than 2 or 3 years from now, when I think things will be even worse for asylum seekers under the Trump administration. And just generally speaking, I think the sooner you have your claim heard, the better your chances for success. So yeah, it absolutely makes sense more than ever to push your stalled asylum case forward now through a mandamus lawsuit. That's what I think. Okay. Manel, what was your question? 10 days for preparing at nothing. What did you leave a question above that I didn't see? I don't understand the context of that. Let me know, Manel, what your question is or what you're saying. Job Mageto says, hello, Brian. I have an interview next month on the 4th. So what is today? The 14th? So you got time. Look, you've got a few weeks. You got 3 weeks? We should talk. We should talk yesterday. Job, I want you to go to this website and schedule a consultation with my team now. Go to that's Spanish. Sorry. Go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. Go to winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. Because look, there's time for us to help you. There's time for us to do a mock interview and a debrief session, and actually to even represent you on the day of your interview. There's time still for that stuff. Okay. There's not time for us to do the full workup on paper that we ideally would like to do, but it's okay, because look, what matters the most is the preparation. The mock interview and debrief session that we're going to do with you, Job, that is the key to success. Our clients tell us this all the time. They're like, Brian, when they win their case, they're like, Brian, the mock interview, the preparation was the main thing that helped me win my case. That was the thing that put me at ease. That was the thing that gave me confidence, that had me feeling prepared and ready to do a great job of my interview. It made all the difference. They tell us this all the time. Okay. So look, Job, we should talk, but you're going to have to, you need to call us, do it now. The best way to schedule this job is to go to, I keep pushing the Spanish button. Go to winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. Oma asks, hey, Brian, how do you speak Russian? Are you Russian? Нет. Вот. I love Russian, though. Мне очень нравится русский язык. I studied a few times in Russia. So I got a minor, meaning it wasn't my main course of study, but I studied Russian language and art and history, literature stuff in university. And I studied 3 times abroad in Russia, once for a semester, and then 2 different times in the summer, all 3 times in St. Petersburg. And I spent a month once in Ukraine on the Sea of Azov near Melitopol, and I spent a couple months in Uzbekistan and Tashkent doing an internship with our foreign ministry before I actually became a diplomat. So yeah, so I've been in the Russian-speaking world a little bit. I love it. I love the Russian-speaking world. I love Russian. It's a beautiful language, cool language. I would like to go back and pick it up. I can't. I used to be kind of fluent, not really fluent. I'm not anymore at all. I can't speak it at all now. but I would love to go back and get good at it someday. It's a cool language. Manel says, are people still getting interviews very quickly? Good question. The question is this. How long is it taking to get your asylum interview scheduled if you apply with USCIS, with the asylum office right now? Look, everyone knows of people, in their community that have been waiting for many years for an asylum interview, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years. And so they're surprised to hear when I tell them, actually, if you apply right now for asylum, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get your interview right away. I'm talking about within possibly weeks of applying, you could have your interview. It's a long, kind of complicated story as to why that is, why there's some people waiting 10 years when if you apply right now, there's a chance you'll get your interview right away, but that's how it is, okay? Which means that you got to be ready. You got to be ready to go quickly, to put your case together on paper, but even more importantly, to prepare. I hope that if you're applying now, I hope you have a lawyer helping you. If not, I hope you're ready to hire a lawyer very quickly upon getting that interview notice so that you can at least do a mock interview, because that's the most important part of the preparation, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, nice. Varun says, I have a consultation tomorrow with you. I'd like to screen share and show you my personal statement and supporting documents directly. Everything is organized and ready to file. Nice, Varun. Look, I'm glad you're organized. That's awesome. Look, in our consultations, you can do that. You can show us the stuff, but we won't take a long time to read through what you have. What we need to do at the consultation is we want to hear from you in your own words, what's happened, why you're afraid. We're going to ask you a lot of questions, but the most important thing is we want to know what's happened and why you're afraid to go back in your own words. That's what we need to make our analysis as to whether we think you have at least some chance to win. And if we think that you do, then we'll know we will believe that we are in a position to help you increase your chances for success. Okay. So we don't go through and take time to read a full declaration. We don't at this stage analyze your evidence. All that stuff we're going to do. If you hire us to be your lawyers, we definitely do all that stuff after you hire us. But at this stage of the consultation stage, it's not necessary, and it's not something we do at the consultation stage. Just so you know, I want to set expectations for you, Varun, before you go in there tomorrow. All right. But I'm really glad that you scheduled a consultation with us. Okay. You're going to have a great experience. I have every confidence with my teammates who are going to talk with you, or my teammate. It'll just be one person. For the rest of you, if you want to be like Varun and get a consultation scheduled so that you can talk with one of our asylum professionals, we'd love to speak with you. You can do that by going to winasylum.com. That website or that URL is winasylum.com. Again, winasylum.com. Or you can give us a call at 713-909-0401. 713-909-0401. Okay. Nobody says their handle on YouTube is nobody. It says, hey Brian, how long is it too late to seek asylum after persecution? And can your appearance be a reason for which you're at risk as a member of the LGBTQ plus community? If yes, what exactly matters to the officer? Tough question about the second part. The question, I'm going to address it at least in two parts. The first one is the question is this. Is it okay to apply for asylum, even though maybe the bad things that have happened to you happened a long time ago? Sometimes we'll have people come to us who are Brian, I had these problems when I was a child, I was maybe abused or something. I had these problems when I was a child, but then several or maybe many years passed, and then I came to the United States. But it's been a long time since that stuff happened to me. Can I still win asylum? And the answer is yes. The fact that bad things happened to you a long time ago, a lot of time has passed between the bad thing and now when you're about ready to apply for asylum, does not mean that you can't win your case. Okay. I shouldn't even, I'm not even going to caveat that or explain that further. The answer is you can still win your case, and it definitely should not keep you from, if a lot of time has passed, that should not keep you from at least exploring with an asylum lawyer whether it makes sense for you to apply. Okay. The other question, what else did you say? The other question was, okay, so can your appearance be a reason for which you're at risk as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and what matters to the officer? The question then is this: can your appearance, or sort of how you come off, be something that can serve as a grounds to get asylum as a member of the LGBTQ plus community? And what kind of things is the officer looking for? What do they care about in one of these cases where you're a member of the LGBTQ plus community and that's why you fear being harmed in your country? Well, look, I would say looks don't really matter, or the way that you sort of present doesn't really matter. In other words, to put it blunt, crudely, it's like, does it matter? Do you need to look gay in order to win asylum as a member of the LGBTQ plus community? No, you don't. The officer doesn't really care about that. They want to know about your backstory. They want to know about your life and sort of your journey to your exploration and acceptance, or at least acknowledgement of your sexual identity. That's really important. They want to know that you can tell your story, explain your history in a way that sounds like realistic for someone who has really lived through what someone in your shoes is claiming to have lived through. So the way that you convince the officer that you're gay is, to put it crudely again, but that's how it is. That's what they want. They need to be convinced that you're gay if that's what you're claiming, and that's what your case is based on. How do you do that is a little more complicated than I can give in just a quick answer like this. But I mean, what I explained earlier is part of it, being able to tell your story of like how you came to understand that you are gay, for example. But also just other indicia, other things that indicate that, look, I'm living the life of someone who you would sort of, in the way that someone might expect a gay person to live, in terms of, having dated someone of the same sex, having been on these, certain applications or whatever that you might expect someone to be on. Things like that. It's unfortunate that you have to prove that you're gay. It's not fair. It's in fact offensive, but it is that way. If that's what your case is about. And you got to be ready to tell that story and to explain these things, and hopefully have some documents and evidence to show around this as well. We've helped lots of people from the LGBTQ plus community. Nobody. So if you think you might want help, we should talk. We like helping people from this community. We've had a lot of success with it. All right. Varun says, I'm planning to switch attorneys because I've had several issues with my current lawyer. I submitted my personal statement and supporting documents back in February, but the case still hasn't been filed. Okay. Yeah, we should. I was going to say we should talk, but you said you're scheduled already for a consultation tomorrow, so we will talk, or you will. It's not with me; it's with one of my colleagues. But you will talk with one of my teammates, and we'll see if we think we can help you. Motlong Rampoloking, sorry if I mispronounced it, says, how can we get a mock interview from you? Do we have to do a consult first? Yeah, because look, there are some cases where it turns out that we think the person has like zero chance for success. Okay. And I don't want to take thousands of dollars from you if I think that if there's like no way we can help you. If I think you have pretty much zero chance for success, I don't feel comfortable taking thousands of dollars from you, because I will think that we can't help you, and I just don't feel good about that. I only want to take thousands of dollars from you, and it's expensive. It is expensive, okay? And I only want to do that if I feel like I'm providing value to you in a way that at least has some chance of being really meaningful to you, okay? So we need to talk in a consultation first about your situation and make sure that we think that you have some chance for success. And we just need to ask you some other important questions and stuff too before we jump into a mock interview context, okay? So we do a consultation. We need to do the consultation. You can schedule that at winasylum.com. It's WINASYLUM.com. Again, winasylum.com. WINASYLUM.com. I'm in removal proceedings. I'm super worried and anxious, afraid. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's scary. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, don't be scared. It's like, but what I want to tell you is I hope you also have at least a measure of faith and confidence and hope, because it's not impossible to win. Neither at the asylum office nor in the immigration court is it impossible to win. We're winning cases. We're helping people win cases in both contexts. Okay. It's not impossible. Keep the faith. Do everything in your power to build the strongest case possible. Dilde, says, what are my chances to win an FGM case in New York with the new administration? The question is this. What are your chances for winning asylum if your case is based on female genital mutilation? Especially, under this current administration, is that something that's going to work, or are they going to shut that down? Look, if you personally have been subjected to FGM, you have a pretty good case. You have a pretty decent chance of winning. If you have not been subjected to it and there's no real reason to believe that someone really, really wants to do that to you, but rather your case is based maybe on you being scared that your children may be subjected to FGM, that's harder to win. That's actually what's considered a political opinion case. It's harder to win, but it's not impossible. We've won those cases. Is it harder under the current administration? I mean, not this particular case. It's not like, oh, this is one of those that's like much harder than it used to be because of Trump. In general, I think the approval rates are going to be going down, down, down with every month that Trump is in office. So all cases are going to be harder. Is this in particular going to be harder? No, I don't think they're going to like try to change the interpretation of the law around this issue or anything like that. But it's not easy. But if there is an FGM issue, that's what your case is based on, you probably have a chance to win. Okay. Abdul says, as an asylum seeker, if you apply for a work authorization for the first time, how long does it take to get it? The question is this. How long does it take to get your work permit when you apply for the first time on the basis of your pending asylum claim? Well, the good news here is that usually it's really fast. Usually it's like a month after you send in that application for your work permit. Usually it's about a month, maybe a month and a half, 2, that you get back the approval with the actual EAD, the employment authorization document. In other words, a little work permit card. That's for first-time applicants. If you're applying to renew an existing work permit that's based on your pending asylum case, we're talking about a long time, maybe like 18 months or more. These timelines have held so far during the first few months of the Trump administration. I wouldn't be surprised if they slowed down, if they purposefully slowed down the processing of these. But so far, the time that I'm doing this live, it has continued to be like that. How it was under Biden, it's continued to be like that under Trump, which is good. At least it's fast for first-time applicants. Okay. Joy says, I missed my asylum interview, but I rescheduled it. So how long does it take to get a response? Can I go ahead and apply for my EAD? Good question. The question is this. So if you miss your asylum interview, but then you write back to them and you request to have it rescheduled, how long will it take for it to get rescheduled? Like, when can you expect it to happen? And can you apply for your EAD, your work permit, after you've missed the interview, but before you have your next one? Well, usually they reschedule these quickly, like within a month or so. When you miss one and you ask them to reschedule it, usually they approve that request, and usually it happens quickly, it's usually like a month or so to get the interview scheduled. Can you apply for a work permit? That's tricky. Depends on whether you would need to have already notched 180 days post-application, almost certainly, in order to have success before your next interview occurs, because your clock, counting the days for your EAD clock, almost certainly was frozen, got stopped, paused when you missed your interview, and it will not start again until you have the interview. So if you had fewer than 180 days from the time of application to the date that you missed your interview, it's almost certainly frozen, and it will not count again until you start counting, until you have your actual interview, unfortunately. Lucy says, could you please explain, is it worth applying for asylum in the USA if you haven't suffered physical harm or threats? Good question. The question is this: can you win asylum? Is it even worth applying if you've never actually been harmed or even threatened in your country? Well, look, maybe, because yeah, it is possible to win. under certain circumstances without any past harm and without any threats. Even if there's no reason to believe that no one out there like wants to actually harm you, it may still be possible to win based just on the future. And this is what we're talking about here are circumstances where there exists in your country what is called in the law a pattern or practice of persecution of similarly situated persons on account of a protected ground. So for example, people who convert from a religion, let's say they convert from one religion to another, but they do that while they're in the U.S., and the people back home might not even know they've converted. But back home, people who do this get persecuted. Well, and there's lots of reports that say this, that it's very widespread, very real danger. Then you could win asylum despite that you've never been threatened in the past and you've never been harmed in the past. Rather, you're winning based on fitting the profile of a group of people who is persecuted on a grand scale because they possess one of the 5 protected characteristics under asylum law. This happens also pretty frequently with members of the LGBTQ plus community. Maybe they weren't out when they were back in their country, but now they are, or they fear that they would be found out and they don't want to live in the closet anymore in their home country. Those are often cases where sometimes they've never experienced harm or threats in the past, but they can still qualify because they fit the profile of people who are persecuted widely in their country. Okay. Have I been to Kyrgyzstan? No, I've been to Uzbekistan, but not Kyrgyzstan. But yeah, I've heard of Kyrgyzstan, sure. Bishkek is the capital. I bet you don't know too many Americans who know that one off the top of their head without Googling it. I did an internship with our foreign ministry in Tashkent. So yeah, I know about Kyrgyzstan. I haven't been there, but I have friends who worked at the embassy there. They had lovely things to say about it. Look, Oma, you said, can you please help me with the mandamus lawsuit? I believe you said earlier you've been waiting 4 years. Listen, we've decided to wait for 5 years. Okay. We've been getting, for some of the people that we've applied for that have been pending for over 3 years, but under 5 years, we've had some pushback. We've had to fight some of these more with the government than we expected. We haven't lost any yet, but as a policy, my law firm right now, we're saying 5 years. We're only taking cases where the person's been waiting 5 years. But listen, Oma, there's stuff that we can do to get started working on your case and to start making progress on your case before we get to that 5 year mark. So if you want to talk with us now, we can talk with you about how we can start the process of supporting your case. And then you can hire us for that now. And then once you get to 5 years, if you haven't gotten an interview, then you can hire us at that time for the mandamus lawsuit. Let's do that. Oma, call us, okay? All right. Vanessa says, can dependents leave after the bar questions, or they have to stay there the whole time with me? I'm nervous. Anxiety is killing me. I think I need a mock interview, but not sure if you have available time for me. The mock interview will be with you or with your team. It won't be with me. It won't be with me. But look, it'll be with someone that's probably better than me when it comes to doing this, to preparing you for your interview, okay? Let me answer your question like this. The question is this. At your asylum interview, will your dependent family members have to be there in the room with you and stay there like the whole time? Look, they will be required to take like an oath and to answer these bar questions, these kind of like security related questions mostly. But that just usually takes like 5 minutes. And the officer almost certainly will not require them to be in the room with you during the substantive questioning, okay? Usually officers will either bring the family members in at the very beginning or at the very end to do this. If they bring you in at the very beginning, usually they say after that, okay, you guys can leave now. Like you can leave the whole office. I'm completely done with you. You can leave. You're done. However, unfortunately, most officers do these bar questions with the family at the end of the interview, which means that your family just stays out in the waiting room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours until everything else is done. And then the officer goes out and gets them and brings them back into the office for the end of the interview, where they do the bar questions for everyone together at the same time. Look, Vanessa, yeah, I mean, look, call us, go right now. Vanessa, go right now to winasylum.com, or if you want to, actually, yeah, go to winasylum.com, or you can go to asiloahora.com to schedule a consultation with us. If you get on our schedule, we might have 1 or 2 spots available tomorrow or the next day. We might be able to get you in for a mock interview. It will. I think it will help you tremendously. Look, you say you're so nervous, the anxiety is killing you. Let me ask you why. Why is it killing you? It's part of it. I would venture to guess, having helped, having done this, having been involved in thousands of immigration interviews, I would venture to guess that the uncertainty and the unknown nature of what's ahead of you is part of what's causing your anxiety, right? Even though you've been on my YouTube channel and you've watched a bunch of videos and trainings, you have a sense for what's going to happen. That's great. But it's even better if you have more intimate experience and knowledge and practice, okay? Doing the mock interview is the best way to prepare. I believe you will leave our mock interview feeling much more comfortable, much more confident, because you know what kind of questions you're going to get. You know what it feels like to be in this position. You know what the different procedures are for the day. You feel like you've been there and done that. So when you go into the real interview, you're like, okay, it's not so scary. It's not so bad. I've done this before. I've been there. I know what to expect. I know how to handle this. I've practiced it. I've gotten feedback and actually improved on how I'm going to handle myself thanks to the mock interview and the debrief session. These are things that can help you to do a better job, I believe. Okay. Nice. Barranquilla Responde TV says, hello, Brian. I'm a lawyer from Colombia. Nice. Right on. Individual hearing in August. Lawyers are too expensive. What do you recommend? If you can't afford a lawyer, go to my YouTube channel. Watch all the videos on my YouTube channel, especially the playlists. Okay. That's what I recommend. All right. Muna says, they're giving away interview dates so fast. Do you think they'll approve it or just to deny? How can I hire you as my lawyer if I want to? Well, the second question is, the answer is, it starts with the consultation. Okay. We need to talk. We need to get to know you, get to know your case, your goals. We need to get to know your situation. We do that in the context of an asylum strategy session. Muna, you can schedule that at winasylum.com. Okay. That's winasylum.com. 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 That's where you can schedule the consultation. Okay. Do I think that they'll just approve it or deny it, given that they're doing a lot of interviews so quickly for new applicants? I don't think it matters. I don't think the fact that they're well, actually, let me rephrase that. I think there's a better chance for success the sooner you get your interview. So people that are getting their interviews right away, I think have an advantage. But I don't think the officer is thinking, oh, I'm going to deny them or deny more people or approve more people based on how soon they're having their interview, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Do Afghans get refused in interviews? And what are the reasons? Yeah, they get refused. That might surprise you. But they do. They shouldn't. Almost none of them, in my opinion, should be getting refused, but they do. What are the reasons? There's lots. It's harder than you think to win asylum. All right. We've helped lots of Afghans. We've never lost an Afghan case, but I promise you, they do get refused. We've helped a lot of them. We've helped a lot of Afghans. We should talk. All right. Job says booking confirmed Saturday, 10 a.m. Right on, Job. I'm super glad to hear that. Listen, if you go to winasylum.com, that's WINASYLUM.com. Those of you who are on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn are going to see this graphic on my screen. Sorry, TikTok, you're missing it. Go to YouTube. YouTube's where it's at. It looks like this when you go book on your mobile. It's super quick and easy to book this consultation with us. It's super quick and easy. Just do it. Just go to winasylum.com. It'll look like this. It's quick to get set up. We want to talk with you. The way that you do that is at winasylum.com, WINASYLUM.com. That's where you can start the process. All right. All right. That's going to be it for now. Listen, it's really a pleasure to be here and engage with you guys. I love talking with you guys, answering questions, hopefully giving you a little bit of hope and support, because heaven knows we need that. Heaven knows asylum seekers need that more than ever. So I'll wrap it up there. Have a good afternoon, good evening. I'm Brian Manning. My law firm is called Political Asylum Lawyers. We're based in Texas, but it doesn't really matter where we are because we help people all over the country. So it doesn't matter where you live. We help people all over the country. So if you want to talk with us one last time, just go to winasylum.com to schedule a consultation. We call this an Asylum strategy session. Go to winasylum.com. You can schedule there. All right, right on. Have a good afternoon, good evening, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Asylum